Welcome one, welcome all. Welcome to From Broken Worlds, where I train through injury and difficulties to try to qualify for the 2027 World's Masters Highland Games Championship. So you're now witness to my new program. I start with glute ham slider, it's called. And then some trunk rotations. This is just for warm-up. I'm not imagining myself training much here, but just to warm up because I have less warm-ups in my main lifts, because if I did the same amount of warm-ups, it would last forever and I couldn't get a full workout in. So I figured throwing in a quick warm-up to begin with is a better way to go. So I'm going to explain this episode about why I put things, why I put them there. I'm kind of in this particular workout still trying to figure out my weights and what I'm going to do. And so there's some back and forth as far as weights concerned and things. As the season goes on, I'll start explaining more of the principles behind why I chose what I chose and go from there. I'll talk about things like the French contrast method that I'm employing. I use also a Bondarchuk principles. I don't follow him lockstep, but I do general outline his framework and use it. So here I put the deadlift too heavy. I don't want to wear straps. It was my grip was the failure. As you see, I just put it down here, but I don't want to wear straps because I want to do this after. Now this I had too heavy as well. I want a little more movement than that. This kind of works the hinge. So this is my French contrast method where I do one compound lift. So I put less weight on a compound lift like this, and then follow it up immediately with explosive activity. Now I'm doing a variation of the French contrast method, and I'll explain that in future episodes. I did a bit lighter, but I think I'm going to go lighter. I have 80 pounds on the end. I don't know what the weight is with the barbell, but I'm going to put 70, I believe, 235s on for 70 pounds. So yeah, that's kind of the one aspect of the workout. The compound movements are going to be lighter, about 80% of what I'm able to do or so. And the reason for that is I'm not looking to build strength in season. I'm just looking to, at best, maintain strength. I'll still lose some strength throughout, but I want my practices on the field to be crisp and proper, right? And so my goal for these compound movements is not to lift heavy, but to lift well, crisp, and then to over time lift them quicker, because I'm trying to develop power for my in season. But my first goal is to lift them nice and clean, nice little pop to it. I don't want it to be grindy in any sort of way. So here's my French contrast with that. So you go from the compound to an explosive movement. So as you can see, I'm not super coordinated with my throws. This kind of simulates a little bit shot put or stone put in our case. So I'm not looking to, or I'm looking to this becoming more coordinated and more snappy. right now I'm just trying to figure things out. I'm trying to figure out the setup, how I put different things. I think I got it pretty much figured out, so I can now focus a little more on the actual lifts. But yeah, you follow up right after. That's a kind of a version of the French contrast method. You can see even the second set is a little better. My left hand is always a little worse than my right, but you can see there's a little bit more of a pop there. But I'm looking to increase that and get it faster and faster and faster throughout the season. So my goal is speed and technique in season, not necessarily weight. And that should cross over better to my practices. Because if you focus on weight, you gotta be in a state of recovery. And I need my practices to be where I'm not in a state of recovery. So I'm looking to get a little more mobility, a little more, a little less stiffness. So that means less weight that I'm lifting. There's some argument whether the stiffness, when you lift heavy, is necessary for you to be able to lift heavy. I believe that's true. Otherwise, why would your body do it? But I don't want to be stiff. I want to be loose. So this is kind of interesting setup. I bought some fat grips, and I put the band inside the fat grips. I bought I think they're called Zeros or whatever. They're their most narrow fat grips, not the big beefy ones. And then this simulates the weight for distance a little bit. It's working my core, but in a more dynamic sort of throwing type of way. Try to simulate that a little bit in the gym to try to connect the pathways strength-wise that your sport actually requires you to do. This is a real Bondarchuk principle. I know this is a debated concept, but I am going to trust in the Bondarchuk method for my in-season and look to kind of create strength pathways, if that makes sense, where the pathway, the movement is strong in the areas that need to be strong to perform this particular movement more efficiently. That's the principle anyways. One good thing about this workout, and I kept track of time, even though it was a Monday and I don't go to work on Monday, I kept track of time to make sure I can do it within an hour, and I was able to do that. Another thing that French contrast method like this helps is it provides a little bit of a conditioning stimulus. Here you can see I'm taking a step into it now. It's not just flat-footed twist. I try to throw in my little bit of momentum into it. And for throwing, that's actually what you want to do. For building muscles, probably not the best to throw momentum into it. But I'm not... If you just look at me, I'm not interested in being a bodybuilder. Yeah, so that went really well. And this will be the minimum of my workout. But if I have time, I have another conditioning tool. It's called a Bulgarian bag. You'll see some movements you can do with it. The reason I picked a Bulgarian bag, one, it works on your grip. The other is you can kind of flow from exercise to exercise. And it has almost maybe a kettlebell quality to it, where it's a more athletic kind of thing. So as you can see, I'll get better at these and just trying to figure out how to use them, but I'm thinking this will help me a lot in my hammer throws. So I'm really, this is kind of this spinny thing, and there's other variations of it, is kind of why I picked this. I figure it'll be good for hammer throw. This is one I just came up with on the spot. I'll probably drop this one. It wasn't the best one. But one thing it did do is really tax my grip. So that's a good thing. Yeah, so this is the Bulgarian bag. It's going to be my conditioning for this season. When I have time at the end, I'll throw this in. Yeah, you can see my grip. Well, this is about the end of my workout for today, guys. I'm glad you came along to see my new workout. There'll be very slight changes. I have 2 different workouts. All right, see ya. Bye.